Hello, Andrew. Please pin this video, this comment, to the top so as many people see it because it's very important. And I suggest, by the way, take down the video, fix this, and re-upload it because it's a really big deal. What you are demonstrating regarding the Dynatopo is, as you can see here, whenever I sculpt, if I now sculpt just across here, let me turn down the detail actually so it's a bit more. If I just sculpt across here, the faces that are going to get messed up are the ones that, because what do you think this topology looks like? If I turn this into smooth shading, you're going to see those hard edges wherever you painted over a, wherever you paint over a polygon. And the reason for that is, if you look at the topology, it gets, you have some very big ones here and some very small ones here, and that does not cause a nice shading. And to kind of prove that, I'm going to do something similar on a cube. I'm going to make this smooth shaded, and I'm going to add supporting edges. And without doing a subsurface or anything, just adding the support edges, and you're going to see that it affects the shading. If I now delete those, you're going to see that this looks completely flat, kind of. But if I just add those, you're going to start seeing some shape in it. So the solution for this is either you need basically you need to apply a higher level of subdivision surface before. So let me just go ahead and apply the subsurface. If I now go into sculpting mode, and turn on Dynatopo, I'm just going to turn the detail way down. If I now sculpt across here again, it's going to lag a bit. Hold on. Just wait for it to finish. There we go. If I now go back into object mode and I turn on smooth shading, you're still going to see those jagged lines across here, but from a distance it's going to be fine. So basically you have to subdivide the model to the point where the detail you're adding, like these polygons here, they have to be approximately the same size as probably these. They don't have to be this big, but basically either these has to be smaller or these has to be bigger. The difference in size cannot be very significant. One solution that I would suggest is basically never use this Dynatopo feature. I'm a ZBrush user, so of course I'm going to be biased, but personally I really do not recommend using this feature. What I would suggest as an alternative, Android, this is for you if you want to fix the video. This is a much better method in my opinion. I just want to make that sure. If I now for instance have now have a cube and I'm going to sculpt on the edges, try and put more geometry across the edges. So basically just adding a bit more geometry across there, adding a subdivision surface and setting it to simple, and at this point you can apply it. You can also do this with the multi-resolution modifier, by the way, and that'll give you a lot of geometry to play around with here. And if I now go into sculpt mode, without using this, you can see that I can still get some very fine detail going on. If I can just turn on the strength a little, you see I'm still getting nice detail, especially on the corners. It just depends on, by the way, they should be approximately squared, but it doesn't really matter, to be fair. And if you want to remesh this, you use the remesh modifier, which is remesh. I never use this, so I don't know where it is. There it is. Then you set this to smooth, and now you just increase this one here, and it's going to give you and the thing that's good about this, it gives you a uniform surface. So basically this kind of works, hold on, let me just open up, oh shit, let me just get rid of this. It kind of works a lot like the workflow you would use in ZBrush. Basically you sculpt, just make this a Polymesh 3D. Why is it not, hold on. There we go. You sculpt on it, and let's say I pull this all the way out, and you get this very jacked up topology, as you can see here. Our solution is simply just doing something that we call a Dynamesh, which if I locate this, it's located here. If I turn that on, you're going to see the same issue that I showed you in, like you can see it here and you can see it here. The same problem that we had in Blender, because you turned a lot of big polygons into very, very small polygons, and the solution here is just simply smoothing them out. But basically, our workflow is you pull something out, and if you get too stretched geometry like you do here, you just mask in the viewport and you get a new geometry that has a nice density. So this is basically you get a lot more freedom that way. So don't use the dynamic subsurface unless you're doing organic stuff. That's one exception. But if you're doing hard surface stuff, never use Dynatopo in Blender. Subdivide the model as much as you need. If the polygon gets too crazy, do a quick remesh and put more geometry where you need it. That'll give you a much better time. So, by the way, if you're watching this, if you're one of the random viewers, just make sure you thumbs this up so it gets through, because I think it's extremely important that this information gets through. Because, like, let's be fair, the poly count does not matter on this cube, because it's only going to be for baking anyways. You're not going to go into edit view. Blender can actually handle a really high poly count in object mode and sculpting mode. So, yeah, see ya.